Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in again. Last time out I was talking about the choice that you may have between either buying a starter pack for your bass or purchasing either a new or used guitar and then the associated equipment individually. I thought it might be useful to just go through some of the options that you may come across when you do that search, because there is an enormous choice out there. I will be referring to eBay because it's where I've done most of my searching. There is of course plenty of other choice available as well, and you'll have fun looking for it. The music shops themselves are good places. They have a range of second-hand instruments quite often because people have done a trade-in possibly when they've bought a new one, so the music shop has a second-hand one that they want to shift on as well. But I'll just use eBay for ease. This will benefit more the people that are going to do the new or second-hand instrument on its own and not the starter pack, because I found that the choice of starter packs was fairly limited, to be truthful. Nice looking instruments, no question of it, and definitely good budget meters, but the range of choice of the instruments on eBay is just huge. I had a look at it yesterday just to do some research for this. Typed in bass guitar as my basic search and it generated about 3,500 hits, I think. Filtered it to used and that knocked it down to about 1,250. And I filtered it again to £300 or less and it still found over 430. So there is a huge range of choice out there to meet every price requirement, to be honest. And that's a point to make as well. Going back to last time's film about the budget, that I was talking about the importance of understanding your budget and knowing what it's got to stretch to in terms of not only the guitar but the amp, the lead, the strap, etc, etc. You need to be clear in your mind, I think, about what you're doing, what you're getting into. If you're already absolutely certain that you know you're going to be in this because you're absolutely mad keen to do it and it's always going to be something that you're going to do, then there's probably a good opportunity via something like eBay to purchase yourself a pretty good second-hand budget instrument. If on the other hand you go out and then you buy that instrument and then you wake up a few weeks later and realise that you actually just had a midlife crisis one night, then suddenly you've maybe got yourself a few £100 worth of gear that you don't want anymore, and that would be a shame, of course. And what you'll see on eBay when you go into it is that there is, starting ridiculously low prices like 30, 40, 50 pounds, there are instruments there for that kind of money. And I can't pretend that they're going to be guitars that a professional would buy. Of course they're not, but equally all the guitars on there, there's no duffers, they'll all work, they'll all play a note. And if you're not sure, then possibly that's the best way to go for you until you are sure, and then you can look at upgrading. I did something pretty similar to that myself, really. I was lucky, of course, that I got the opportunity to buy this one off my good friend Gary for a price that was really helpful to me. And it's been my guitar now for 3 years and has been everything I needed to get me started. And I've actually just got to the stage, I've just bought my new one and it has arrived today, and in the next film I hope to be both unboxing it and playing it if it has arrived playable, which I'm not sure about yet. So do keep that in mind, know what you're buying and why you're buying it. Let's assume that you're going to buy one because you're reasonably happy with things, so you're looking to buy something that's definitely a budget make, but nevertheless has got a bit of quality and a reputable name about it. The makers' names on eBay, there must be 50 or 60. It's a huge list. But there are a few names that are worth mentioning as really standout, reputable, affordable makes. Yamaha, Washburn, Warwick, Aria, Ibanez or Ibanez, however you pronounce it, are all excellent instruments. And you'll see all of those on eBay for way less than £200. And they're a really good buy, in truth, any of those. But then there's also another sort that's really worth considering as well. And if, like me, you don't know an awful lot about guitar brands, but nevertheless, being into music, you've probably heard of a guitar, say a Fender, for example, famous make of guitar manufacturer. Gibson, exactly the same again. And they cost an awful lot of money. But they do make, I'm not going to call it a copy, would be completely the wrong term. It's a budget alternative of their own make, like a subsidiary company of the main one. Fender, for example. This is the subsidiary. It's called a Squier, Squier, not IRE, if you're searching for it. And they are the subsidiary company of Fender, making Fender style guitars, but just to a cheaper specification. To the naked eye, scratch at the top notwithstanding, that looks like a Fender from at least from a distance, in gloomy light. The difference in the two is probably more than £1,000, incredibly. So I've always been extremely happy that I've got myself a good quality budget instrument with a reputable name, and I've enjoyed playing it. So Squiers for Fenders. The Gibson equivalent are called Epiphone, I believe. And there is also a third one that I came across called the Sub-Ray. The famous make of the guitar is Ernie Ball, Music Man Guitars. And again, way in the thousands. But when I was doing the research for my new one, I came across something called a Sub-Ray, and they were very, very nice lookers indeed. In the end, I went for something, another make, which I'll throw into the equation, called Vintage, and they do some very nice guitars too. There's a lot of choice of vintage on. The other thing that you have to consider is your amp, because your amp obviously determines what comes out, what you play. And what you have to consider here is where you're playing and who you're playing with, to why I play here on my own, to my MP3 player on my phone. I always have done. And therefore there are two input ports on that one. I can plug in the guitar into one of them and my music source into the other, and the amp absorbs both sources of music and plays it out through its speaker. And then it has a third port, which is an output port for headphones. So I'm not disturbing anybody, because I try to be a good neighbour. And I can listen to the music and play along with it, and it all comes out through the headphones. And that's been me basically for 3 years, and I've been more than happy with that. That's a 30-watt amp. And I've never even cranked it up past probably about quarter power, to be honest. But if I was playing, say, God forbid, in a band or with other people, or even in a much larger environment, 30 watts, certainly in a band, 30 watts is nowhere near enough. Most people that play in a band would be using probably a minimum of a 100 watt amp, possibly even up to 150, 200 maybe, depending on how big a gig they're playing. So keep that in mind as well when you're buying your amp. What are you going to use it for? What's your aim and objective? And if, like me, for now, you're just playing at home and learning, then what they call a practice amp, wattage is usually 15, 20, 30 like mine is, then those are ample, more than ample. And obviously the bigger the output, so the price goes up, you may well be looking at over £100 for the bigger amps. I think I paid about 35 for that particular one, a Peavey. So what I was going to do, because this one is leaving me very soon, I was just going to plug everything in and give it one go on screen before I get rid of it. So the amp is already switched on by proof of that red light. So where's the hole? Let's see a damn thing. There we go. We are now plugged in. Amp disappears from view. And last time out I played that 5 notes of Comfortably Numb and we could barely hear it. Hope you can hear that this time. Another thing to talk about with the guitars is the type of guitars that's out there. There, again, as well as the makes, there are several types of bass guitar, but 2 of the really common ones are based around the type of pickup that's on the instrument. A precision bass, like mine, P-bass for short, has what's called split pickups. The pickups are the thing, when you pluck the string oscillates and these pickups underneath the string pick the sound up, send it through the electrics of the guitar to the output jack, which then travels down the floor, round the room and back out to your amp. And then I've got another pickup there which goes over the top 2 strings. That's a precision bass. That's a standard appearance of a P-bass, split pickups. The one that I'm getting next is what's called a jazz bass, J-bass. And the difference there is that the pickups are one straight line, all 4 in a straight line, which I'll hopefully be able to demonstrate better when I actually have the machine in place. But there's 2 of them. There's one there and then one a bit further down. And it offers a completely different range of tones to the precision bass, which has a slightly harsher tone to it, possibly. I believe a jazz bass is a slightly warmer tone. And there's a couple of other cosmetic differences as well between the 2. This one is a fairly uniform body shape at the back. The jazz bass has a much bigger belly to it. Not really sure why, but if you look on the likes of eBay and compare the 2, then you'll see that the difference in body shape. And the other big difference is in the neck. The width of the jazz neck is noticeably thinner than my P-bass is. And for somebody with short, stubby fingers like me, that, I'm hoping, will be a major advantage in making all the strings. So when I'm missing notes at the moment because I can't reach, I'm hoping that I'll improve slightly with that, to be honest. So that was my bass. There we go. Next time out, when I unbox the other one, I'm hoping to actually start after that introducing some basic notes, and I'll try and bring some structure to the uploading schedule as well. At the moment I've just been uploading them as and when I can do them. Hopefully I'll get into making them a regular once or twice a week thing. And as soon as I have the J-bass in place, I'll unbox it and see if it plays. And if it doesn't play, then that video will finish on a very low emotional note, and I'll send it away to get it playable before I come back and do another video. So until that time, folks, do please stay safe as always and take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.